Hi, my name's Lisa, and I wanted to come on and kind of make a quick video about the medication for POTS called Corlanor. Before I started taking this medication about 5 months ago, I could not find a lot on it, and so I was a little bit apprehensive to start it. I've now been taking it 5 months. It's actually worked extremely well for me. And basically my story, what happened was I ended up in the hospital last, I think it was July or August now. They ended up finding unexplained tachycardia. On my tracing, I was on a tele unit at that time, telemetry. I am a registered nurse, definitely not giving medical advice. I just want to kind of share how it's been for me. And I just wanted to come on and kind of talk about my experience taking it in hopes that maybe it will help someone else out there. So basically, I was diagnosed with POTS. I had lots of different testing done. I had a home monitor on for 2 weeks, a cardiac monitor. I had a stress test. I had an echocardiogram. I had a tilt table test. I've actually gone into SVT a few times for no reason. I even was shocked by a defibrillator on accident once. I do not recommend that. Anyway, so what my 2-week cardiac monitor showed was inappropriate sinus tachycardia. I think my average heart rate was like 110 when it all came out, or 115, somewhere around there. And what had been happening for about a year before I ended up in the hospital is I would get up in the morning, work out, drink lots and lots of water so I wasn't dehydrated. And then just throughout the day, I would get these extremely dizzy spells, or I would go from sitting to standing and my heart would all of a sudden start racing in the 130s, 140s, and it would take a while to come down. The highest I've had with like an episode, but that was SVT, was in the 170s, and that was not very pleasant. But throughout the day, my standing heart rate, no matter what I was doing, just walking around the house or doing dishes, it was staying in the 120s. And the dizziness was kind of debilitating at times. I never passed out, but a lot of days I was really miserable and I would just end up back in bed. Sometimes I would stand up and my vision would go black, and just from being so dizzy. Now I also have type 1 diabetes. As you can see, I've got my insulin pump on, my continuous glucose monitoring system, and they're not really sure what started this whole thing for me. I started seeing the cardiologist after being discharged from that 5-night hospital stay, and he's also sent me to a cardiac electrophysiologist that he works with just because he wanted them on board for those times when I am having trouble and maybe he needs to pull in a little help on figuring out which medication to give me. And part of that is because I also have low blood pressure at times. So just for example, the last time I went to the cardiologist just a couple weeks ago, I worked out in the morning, I drank lots of water, I ate, went to the cardiologist, and they did my vital signs. My blood pressure was 84 over, I think it was like 76. Well, there goes Linus. And what's funny is I wasn't even symptomatic at that point. What originally happened is they started me on propranolol, the first hospital stay after SVT, where that cardiologist said, "You've definitely got POTS." That was before I had any testing. And she prescribed propranolol, 10 milligrams twice a day. So I started taking it, and it was bottoming my blood pressure out to the point where I was even more dizzy and symptomatic. It was miserable. So as soon as I got back to Florida, I was on a work trip at that time. I went to see my cardiologist for a follow-up, and he changed it to metoprolol. And metoprolol, I pretty much had the same thing happen. So then I went back in again, and he started me on the Corlanor. So Corlanor is actually a medication for heart failure, and it lowers your heart rate, but it doesn't lower your blood pressure. So for those of us that can't really take the traditional medications because we have low blood pressure on top of issues with POTS or tachycardia or whatnot, Corlanor for me was perfect. So now my heart rate pretty much is resting in about the 80s. Actually, let me go see what it is now. What are you doing? Hi. Well, the Sphinx decided he's going to join in. So I am moving over here to finish this. So kind of unusual. My heart rate right now is actually 97, or 100, which is higher than it normally is. Since I've been taking the Corlanor, when I've been spot checking myself, I've been running about 85 on the 5 milligrams twice a day. So Corlanor comes in 2.5 milligrams, 5 milligrams, and 7.5 is the max dose. Probably I'm gonna have to talk to my cardiologist or send him a message. I'm gonna have to do some more spot checks to see if maybe I'm needing a dose change, or maybe it's just because I'm here shooting a video right now. And this is how I get the Corlanor. So I actually had to start getting my Corlanor through Canada. And the reason is most insurances will not cover a medication that is mainly given to people with heart failure when they don't have heart failure. So I get a written script from my cardiologist, and then I get 90-day supplies shipped from Canada. And I think up there they call it Corlanor, and then ivabridine is the generic for it up there. And I just get the cheapest, and I haven't noticed any difference between the cheapest and like the one that's made in the UK or the one that's made in Canada. I want to say it's running me about $115 for a 90-day supply. So, you know, it kind of stinks having to pay it, but it's what has helped me, and I would never go back to the other medications because of what they were doing to my blood pressure. So basically what I was diagnosed with from the cardiologist and the electrophysiologist is POTS syndrome and inappropriate sinus tachycardia and episodes of SVT, which is supraventricular tachycardia. Interestingly enough, when I went to the electrophysiologist last time, he mentioned that for the last couple years, since You Know What came along, that he has seen 2 to 3 people every single week, my age range, in his office for absolutely no reason with the same issues. So he thinks it's going to get better over time. And I've kind of been lumped by other doctors into that long COVID category. And I've had COVID pneumonia. I did get monoclonal antibodies when I had COVID pneumonia. That was 3 years ago. Oh my gosh, is it going on? No, 3 years ago. And I've never had the You Know What, the other thing. Then I'm not gonna say so my video doesn't get taken down. So that is it. Just wanted to share my story, my experience with the ivabridine or the Corlanor, which for me, it's really helped for the most part. And this is my baby Linus. This cat provides so much entertainment and love. He has been one of the best additions to our family that we have ever had. And Linus is now about 1.5. Are you sleepy? Sleepy baby. I'm surprised he's above the covers because usually he is under the covers. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful week.